Well, my father was a trumpet player, and when I was a small boy, my father Armando, he had a band in Boston, and he used to write the arrangements, and it was about 8-piece band with a saxophone, 2 trumpets, and they wore nice suits for dancing, you know. But my father's interest was jazz, so he had a collection of 78 RPM vinyl. And
70s, wow.
Yeah, in the 40s.
Yeah.
And he had recordings like from Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, some early Miles Davis with Charlie Parker's band, some Sarah Vaughan, some Billy Eckstine, big band, Dizzy Gillespie big band. So I listened to this music, and that was the music excited me. I wanted to try to do it.
Can you share with us about your time in Miles Davis band?
I listened to. I grew up with Miles Davis's music from 1947 until 1968 when I joined Miles Davis, and I was with him for about 2.5 years to 71. And it was a great experience for me. And Miles was always very. He had a little problem with his voice.
Okay.
So he didn't speak a lot, but we had good communication, and he would whisper things in my ear because of his voice. He'd come up and tell me stories or give me some instructions sometime. But generally, he was a very kind leader, and he always kept a focus on what he loved to do. He would always. He didn't care about the critics. He just played the music that he really liked. And the band I played in was very wild, with Wayne Shorter and Jack DeJohnette and Dave Holden.
I quite enjoy the 2 ECM albums of good improvisation, solo piano performance, but a lot of Chinese fans seem to have forgotten those 2 albums. Would you like to talk a little bit about it?
Well, it was right after I left Miles Davis Band. I formed a group with a free music group with Dave Holland called Circle, and then at a certain point I became interested to create some lyrical music, some melodic music, and so I began to play some solo piano. And Manfred Eicher from the ECM recording company asked me if I would record. So I went in the studio and recorded 2 albums of just improvisations. Everything was improvised, and so these 2 albums were recorded in one day, a couple of hours. And from then I began to try to play some solo piano every now and again. I like to play it. I do a combination of many different things. Sometimes for audience, for the Shanghai audience, I try to play some familiar melody, but always improvise. I use the melody to begin, but then improvise.
Recently, Blue Note has released a lot of classic albums in vinyl. What do you think about this gesture?
Well, it seems like the music fans, they like vinyl. I like vinyl because it's a good sound and it's something to hold.
Yeah.
And you have a LP cover for artwork, and it's something nice to have. I think it's better than the digital.
Yeah.
So, for instance, my new band Vigil is. We just made a brand new recording with my band. And now this new recording is also coming on vinyl. So I think vinyl is beginning to come back a little bit. People becoming interested, buying turntables again, and I think it's a good thing.
From some level, do you think the vinyl record is come back with revival?
Yeah, I think it's coming back. It seems to me people are becoming more interested to buy vinyl, and the record companies seem more willing to make the vinyl available.
A friend of mine who is studying jazz music in the Royal Music Academy of UK once told me that he played a song Spain for his exam. He said that each and every Spanish person knows this song, yours even if he does not listen to jazz music at all. Can you share with us a little bit of how you compose this piece of music?
Well, I became interested in kind of Spanish salsa, dance, Latin music when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I began to learn some of this kind of music from a band. I worked in a band by a Portuguese trumpet player and a really good conga player named Bill Fitch. And so he showed me the music of Tito Puente, Machito, Eddie Palmieri, the New York bands that played for Latin dances, you know, because New York is such a mix of culture. A lot of Puerto Rican and Cuban and Spanish, South American people living in New York. So that's where I learned. I played with Mongo Santa Maria's band for a while, and I became in love with Latin rhythm, because Latin rhythm is extroverting, like for dancing, you know. And to me, it was a good complement to more serious jazz, more extrovert Latin music. I like to combine them.
Any musicians at present you would like to recommend to us?
Oh well, I want to say that maybe in creative music and in jazz now, the media, the media like the newspaper, the TV mainly, the radio, they don't present jazz so much. So the jazz fan has to go search.
Yeah.
Internet is a good place to look for young jazz, but I want to tell everybody that there are a lot of young great players. I just finished 1 week residency in New York City at Jazz at Lincoln Center, and I played a few nights with the Wynton Marsalis big band. But I also invited many young musicians and their bands to come and perform in Dizzy's Club, in the Allen Room. There's 3 venues in Jazz at Lincoln Center. And some of the musicians I invited there were a young pianist from Georgia, Tbilisi, named Becca Gotchasvili, a young, maybe 16 years old, maybe a young Israeli pianist named Gadi Lahavi from Tel Aviv. Very beautiful, mature young players came to perform in New York. There's a young Cuban drummer named Henry Cole. No, actually, he's Puerto Rican drummer. A young Puerto Rican drummer, Henry Cole, brought his new music to play. My old friend Edsel Gomez, great composer, piano player. Elio Villafranca, another really beautiful Cuban pianist. Alfredo Rodriguez, another Cuban pianist. Marcus Roberts, my old friend, playing blues piano. Many great young musicians.
す。